Good morning, and welcome. This is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and I'm telling you, I am just excited to be able to share with you today. This is a beautiful sunny day in Texas. Wherever you are, I hope it is a beautiful day, even if it's raining, even if you're listening to this when it's snowing or storming. I want this to be a calming, peaceful, enlightening period of time for you. So I said good morning, but it could be afternoon, evening, nighttime, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome. I was thinking this week about what I could talk to you about today. And something came to mind, and I had to go look it up. Now, over the last several podcasts, I've been going through my book, Christianity, the Law of Attraction, and One Command. And I just happened to be on YouTube, saw a YouTuber who does similar things that I do, and they were talking about manifesting again, and they were talking about your story. What do you tell yourself? What is your story? And I remembered, as I've taught many people, about your life script. So I'm going to tell you what your life script is in a little bit, but I'm going to read you a story. So listen up. There was a man named Ralph who made his living as a fruit and vegetable vendor. Ralph lived in a rundown section of town because this is where he had been raised from the age of 3, and he saw no reason to move to another neighborhood. His apartment was a few blocks from his family home, and it had not had repairs or been painted in years. It was so cold and damp in the winter that he put plastic and blankets up to the windows and towels on the floor by the door to block some of the drafts. It was unbearably hot in the summer, therefore he usually slept on the roof. Now let me stop right here. I remember doing this at one time in my life. I was in a small 2-room apartment, and I loved it. It was nice. It had central heating, and yes, it had been painted and it had repairs. But what it reminded me of, I had to put plastic on the windows because the draft from the window was so great. How many of you have put plastic on the windows or put a towel under the window to catch the water coming off the window? Or, most of us, even now, we have those little strips you put on your door to keep the wind from coming in under the door, or you've got storm doors on your door to do that. But even if you've not experienced living in a situation where no repairs and no paint for a long time, I think you can relate to trying to keep the air from coming in your location with the heat being there. If you don't have air conditioning, you've got some kind of fan or you've got the windows open. So just imagine his life in this rundown slum. Let's call it a slum for what it is. Ralph knew that there were those who lived in better conditions, but he would not even begin to imagine what that world was like. Friends had moved out of the neighborhood and had encouraged Ralph to join them, but he kept saying this is where he belonged. He couldn't do much better. As was his habit, each morning he would imagine standing in his booth at the farmer's market, selling his fruits and vegetables. So how many times each morning do you get up and visualize what your day is going to be like? right? You've probably done that today, and you may not do it deliberately, but we all do. We want to figure out what to expect for the day. What's it going to be like at the office or work, or, if you're retail or, working with the public, or you're, working outside, whatever it is, you imagine what your day is going to be. So he was no different. He always visualized having a pineapple or orange or tomato that he would slice for the customer to taste, and as they pass by his booth. So you've been to fruit stands and they got, okay, have a piece of my orange, have a piece of my tomato. Oh, taste this grape, it's so good, or this strawberry. We've all done that, and then we would decide whether we would buy or not. He imagined they loved the taste so much that they bought his items. Sometimes he would visualize someone buying several baskets of tomatoes or 3 pineapples or even a bushel of apples. Everything in his world related to his booth at the farmer's market. Everything he knew and was conscious of related to how good of a vendor he would be each day. He thought of himself only as a good fruit and vegetable vendor. He never explored the world outside of his farmer's market stand. He never dreamed that he was the owner of the market or that he could become something more. Ralph was a very smart man. He had done very well in school, especially in math and science. Inside of him was the makings of a scientist or mathematician or pharmacist or anything he would dare to dream. However, he never thought of himself as anything other than a fruit and vegetable vendor. He lived his life never knowing that he was a beautiful multicolored butterfly, destined for great things. He was stuck inside the stout light green caterpillar. He was capable of changing in a moment, able to fly away to greener heights and wonders outside of his small world. He never did. He maintained his entire life as Ralph, the fruit and vegetable vendor. Just like Ralph, we live our lives according to a script. See, this is where the life scripting comes in. According to a script written deep in our subconscious mind. It is our very essence. It is who we are, what we believe. Our thoughts and actions have been faithfully controlled by our subconscious programs. So here's another story that I heard recently. Now, I don't know if it's true, but I'm going to tell it anyway because it's a good story and it's about someone in the news. And that is Steve Harvey. Many of you know him as being on Family Feud or the Steve Harvey Show or the one where he had the kids. He had a radio show. Well, the story was that when he was younger, he told his teacher or his counselor, school counselor, that he wanted to be a stand-up comedian. And I don't know who he wanted to be like, Nipsey Russell or, any of the famous comedians that are out there or people who had their radio show, but he aspired to that. And his counselor told him, no, you'll never do that. You don't know anybody that has been in Hollywood or in the entertainment industry. And, your family is here and you need to just graduate and go to college and go get a good job. Now, I know many of you have heard that in your life. You've probably been told that, we're told that over and over again. I know that I don't really remember what my school counselor told me because I didn't go see her that often. But I knew I wanted to go to college. Didn't know what I wanted to be, but I wanted to go to college. That desire was there. So no one stopped me from having that desire, I just really didn't have the direction of what to study based on who I was and what I enjoyed. So, anyway, so that's what the counselor told him. But he went home, he talked to his father, so it said, and his father told him, don't pay attention to what they say. They don't know. You go after your dreams. You go find out how to become that comedian on stage. You go find out what it takes to do that. Tyler Perry, he believed in himself. He believed in his plays. He believed in his message, that he worked a regular job. I don't know if he worked in a retail or whether he worked at a fast food stop but he didn't make a lot of money, but whatever he made, he lived so he could put on his next play. And for a while he was living in his car. How many of you are willing to do that? But their life story, their thing that they told themselves was that they can be successful. And so there's two examples of dreaming big and becoming successful. Now, you don't have to dream that big if you don't want to. You might dream to own your own store or to own your own fleet of cars, of a limousine service, or you might dream of becoming a designer or whatever it is that is your idea, or invent something that will help someone else. I don't know what your dream is, but I'm going to tell you, if you write your story like Ralph wrote his story every day, you'll never go any further than where you are. So if something in your life is not working, help may be as easy as rewriting your life script. So what would the fruit and vegetable vendor's life have been like if he changed his script slightly, just slightly, to envision himself owning several vegetable stands with many people working for him? What would his life been like if he had dreamed of going to technical school or to college to try a totally different career? What would your life be like if you dared to dream of a life different than the one you are currently living? What would it be like? Don't let anyone talking to you, telling you that you are who you're going to be. You just start dreaming. What is it? You can just sit down and if you don't have any idea, you can just sit down and start making notes about what you love. When you find yourself daydreaming about something big, write it down. Get yourself a journal. I've told you this before. Find yourself a little notebook. You can go to the dollar store and get a notebook, right? Or just find some pieces of paper and make yourself your own book and start writing. Now let's talk about what is a life script. Well, let's start with the fact that a movie, television, or play script is the language, attitude, and the dialogue for the characters to follow in a story. A computer script is a set of instructions or commands that cause certain operations to be performed to accomplish a task. Now, taking these couple of definitions just a little further, a life script is composed of, you ready? Thoughts, feelings, beliefs, habits, and dialogue that you follow as you go about your daily activities. So your basic life script was created by both internal and external forces during your formative years as a child. It is shaped by how your parents, your grandparents, brothers, sisters, friends, teachers, and even stranger treated you, they have had an influence on your life. Everyone and every incident has had that influence on how your life script was and is created. Now, how do they affect you today? All these things that you have experienced in your life. So here's some statistics. One, did you know that 97% of adult thoughts are negative and hidden in your subconscious? So an example is 97% of women have a negative body thought daily, according to Glamour Body Image Study. Okay, so that's 97% of us, I include myself, has some negative body image. It's like, oh, wish I could lose some weight right here, or oh, my legs are too small. Oh, I can't stand the way my hair looks. Oh, whatever it is. Men, you do it too. Okay? But and 61% of the negative thoughts are recorded in the brain by age 5. So if you've got young kids and you're talking around them, please be aware that when they speak, they're speaking what you speak. They are a reflection of you. So if your little kid is talking negative, your little kid is spewing out negative language, just listen to yourself because they're getting it from you. We create our reality with our thoughts. Therefore, there's a lot of negativity within us and others that stops us from being successful, rich, happy, and having many other things that we consciously desire. So, what would it be like if you changed that? Right? What are the advantages of knowing and changing your script? Well, actively creating your life script is like creating a movie or a play. Most of us think and act in a very unconscious way, so we create the same results over and over again. So here are some of the things that you can do, and I've listed these in my book. Discover your current script and how it works for or against you. That's the very first thing you need to do. Just start paying attention to your thoughts. And again, in that journal, start writing down notes. Oh, this is what I thought today. And write down the negative thoughts, not just the positive ones. If you have to have one page at the top that says, my negative thoughts on August, whatever the date, or June, the whatever, whenever you're listening to this. So I'm not going to say the date, but whatever the date is when you have that thought, write it down. And then have a page that says positive thoughts. Explore what makes you happy so you can create a life script that supports your goals. So if you hate your job, what do you hate about your job? What do you love about your job? I have a friend who helps people look at who they are, how they think, how they speak, how they interact in the world. And there is a test. I won't even call it a test. It's a survey. But through that survey, she helps people get into the right job. I mean, that they love. They wind up happy in that job. So if you go to betterjobfit.com, I think it's .com, but Better Job Fit, and Janet can help you find out where you need to be and how you need to interact in the world. She's always telling me, Beverly, you're high on this, right? Or I'm low on control. I don't like to be controlled very much. You know, I'm high on being able to be self sufficient, initiative, and those kinds of things, and a number of other things. So she tells me, you're on a scale of 1 to 10. You're a 5 here, so you could just go this way. You're a 10 over here, so when you talk to people, you need to do this. So by looking at those things, she can help you with your life. Again, that's Janet Watson at betterjobfit.com. All right, and that was not a paid advertisement. She just happens to be a friend, and I believe in what she does, and she helps a lot of people. Let's see. Uncover and replace limiting belief that prevent you from having the life script that you want. Sometimes it's hard for us to find that. So here's another recommendation. Find someone you believe is upbeat and that's around you on a regular basis. And I want you to encourage them to call you out when you say something negative, or you say something negative about yourself or somebody else or some incident. Give them permission. No, don't tell them to, embarrass you or anything. They might whisper to you if you're in a group of people, or tell you a little later. But a lot of times we wind up saying negative things and we go, oh, I didn't realize it. Even I get called out. Trust me, there are times when I wind up saying something negative and it's like, Bev, I went, oh, yes, sorry about that. Let me cancel that, cancel, and let me change what I really want to be. Learn how to know when you are moving toward what you really want and when you are moving away. So you have to do the other ones first, because you've got to know what you want. And you've got to start writing the script each day, or setting your attention each day to do something to take you to where your goal is. Let me give you an example. Example is, I decided I want to take a trip overseas. Now, unless you put things in motion, nothing's going to happen. So the first thing I did was, I have a bank account, a savings account. So I started putting automatically, I don't even have to go to the bank to move it. I automatic put a certain amount of money each month in that savings account going toward that trip. So that's for the trip. If you are looking to buy a car, or you want to buy a house, or you want to do that, what are you doing to get you there? Do you have to pay down bills? Do you have to get rid of bills? Do you have to start putting money away? Do you have debt that has to be taken care of, college debt, whatever it is? What do you need to work on to free you up to do and be who you want to be? Now, and in this book, I tell you, know how to use the power of the one command to support your dreams. And so the book talks to you about using this command to help you change your life and get what you want. And the one command has a way of removing that negative thought from your mind and flipping it around to what you want instead. And you learn more about that in the book. So your dreams, fantasies, fairy tales, and childhood stories, they can all give you a clue of what you want in your script. So what did you dream about as a child? What you fantasize about? We all girls, we always kind of fantasize about being a princess and meeting our Prince Charming and those kinds of things. But what else did we dream about? Or do you have your Prince Charming, or you don't have him? Just start thinking about what you truly desires. It can be helpful to have someone to work with you, as I said, and record your response on tape. As you're talking, you can start just talking about my dreams and aspirations, or you got a recorder on your phone. Just sit there and just start talking into the recorder about what you desire. You'll be amazed at the amount you learn about yourself and your script by listening to your thoughts. By recording your information, you don't have to stop to type or write your thoughts. Therefore, you are free to let your thoughts flow. In this script, you want to become your favorite hero or heroine. So, who is your favorite comic book or movie character? It could be someone from your childhood story, perhaps a hero or heroine from a play, a book, a film that you remember. But I want you to choose the first character that comes to your mind. Turn on a recorder and become that person or thing. Pretend you're Wonder Woman. Pretend you're Superwoman or Superman or Captain America or whomever. The Hulk. Talk about yourself in character, in detail, like you were talking to a good friend. So, if I'd identify with a movie star, I might say, I am beautiful and slender. I have luxurious long brown hair that sways in the wind. Now, this is what I wrote when I wrote this book. So, today I wouldn't quite say that, but let's go on with what I wrote in the book. I am wonderful I am in wonderful movies with handsome men like George Clooney, Reeves, Harry Connick Jr., or Pierce Brosnan. I am always being followed by photographers trying to take my pictures. This is a wonderful life of nightly parties, but it is also great work. I recently was nominated for a Golden Globe Award. It is a great honor. I don't know how I was chosen in the same field with all the wonderful actors who have been nominated. I am so excited, right? Whoever your character is, be him or her and talk about them as though it was you. And I'm not going to tell you who the character was that I was imagining myself to be in this, but I was imagining it through her eyes. And then I went on later to imagine it through my eyes and who were the leading men I would like to be with on screen. And no, I'm not sharing that with you. So create your own story by designing that main character you want to play. Determine your lines and act your part. If, when you imagine yourself living the life script that you designed, you find yourself feeling excited and energized by what you've imagined, you have a script that you enjoy living. The next step is to begin replacing your current thoughts. So I've been telling you this all along. Your recurring thoughts, your words, your actions, and emotions that are out of alignment with this life script, right? You want to have those that are a better fit. Living a new script, no matter how great it is, requires that you become more conscious about what you're currently doing, more selective about what you will do instead, more conscious of who you are associating with and who is encouraging you and who may not. Do your command to help you change the way you think and you feel by getting to your subconscious mind and making that change. Now let me look at this. And this is a quote by David R. Hawkins, MD, PhD. Why is true success so relatively effortless? It might be likened to the magnetic field created by an electrical current through a wire. The higher the power of the current, the greater the magnetic field. that it generates. And the magnetic field itself then influences everything in its present. So make sure that you are happy and encouraged and enthusiastic about this life script that you are writing for your life. Because by making this change, so writing down what you desire, doing a couple of things that I said, record it on your phone, write it in your journal. What is it that you want to be, do, have in your life that you don't have today? And then start writing down what it's going to take in order for you to be there. Are you willing to sacrifice? And I'm using the term not detrimentally, but positively. What are you willing to give up to get what you want? I'm willing to give up this extra money each month and put it in an account so I can go on this trip that I desire, because I do cash. I don't do credit. Get rid of your debt. Go find the school that you want to go to. But all of these things, implement something that will change your life. Thank you for listening today. Please share the link to this show with your friends and family so that they can learn how to be the best that they can be. Visit my website at commandingyourlife.com and follow me on Facebook. Have any suggestions for the show? Just contact me by emailing Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. Be sure to join me on the next episode. As you have believed, let it be done to you, and it is so.